Welcome back to Beacon Hills. I hope you had a great vacation away from our favorite supernatural city. Continuing our journey through the legendary Bestiary, our second episode brings us to the hunters of the supernatural world of Teen Wolf. Hunters are an important part of not only the universe's lore, but also the franchise as a whole. So if you're a returning viewer, welcome back. And if you're new to the channel, I hope that after today, I'll earn your subscription and continued support. Grab a snack and a drink because this is going to be the definitive guide on the hunters of MTV's Teen Wolf. Let's begin. The Hunters are a secret organization dedicated to hunting werewolves and other supernatural creatures. The organization consists of self-appointed protectors dedicated to the lifelong protection of the human community from supernatural threats. Though they typically focus on werewolves, they have been also known to hunt other supernatural creatures as well, including but not limited to berserkers, were-jaguars, and canimas. This organization has been around for centuries and is located all around the world, and they usually consist of large old human families who also recruit among their friends. The hunters have their own rules and hierarchy within the organization. The most notable among these rules is that because they recognize that most wars have been started by men, they have a matriarchal leadership in which their daughters are trained to be the leaders and their sons are trained to be the soldiers. For their children, hunter training typically begins in childhood, though in some cases, such as with Allison Argent, they don't begin training until they are in their teens. One of the young hunters' first training sessions consists of being tied to a chair in an unknown location and given nothing but a small blade to cut themselves free. During Allison's first hunter training session, she was captured by other Argent hunters from a gas station and brought to the Hale House ruins where she was tied to a chair, and the hunters then played a recording on their phone as part of the training session before giving her a broken arrow with which to free herself. The time it takes the young hunter to free themselves depends on the skill level of the hunter in question. It took Allison 2.5 hours to free herself, while Bennett took 3. Conversely, Chris Argent claimed that he was able to free himself in seconds, though whether or not he was being truthful or facetious remains to be seen. Once the hunter in training has learned all of the skills necessary to be an effective hunter, they will forge a silver bullet as a testament to the hunter's code. However, this can vary based on the hunter's weapon of choice, since Allison Argent was seen forging a silver arrowhead to symbolize both her commitment to the family's new code, as well as to show that her weapon of choice is the bow, and it appears that forging a bullet is not necessarily a mandatory requirement. The hunter will also typically etch their family's symbol into their bullet or arrowheads. For example, Chris, Kate, and Allison etched the Argent family fleur de lis into their ammunition, whereas the Calaveras, whose family is Spanish for skull, carves that symbol into their bullet castings. Typically, once the younger hunter has finished their training, they will begin to actively hunt supernatural creatures and defend humans, though this can vary among families as well. Occasionally, if there is a large amount of supernatural activity in their region, the young hunter may already have been going on hunts while still in training. This was the case for Allison Argent, whose family was actively hunting a pack of werewolves, a canima, and a canima master while Allison was just starting her training, and as a result, they needed all the help they could get, especially considering Allison was in school with the majority of the creatures they were hunting and was thus in a better position to gather information for them. Allison states that hunters forge silver bullets as a symbol of completing their training and as a testimony to the code, as also mentioned before. Just to recap before moving on to the next section. A bestiary is a system of documentation collected over the years by hunters who use it to keep records of everything they have hunted, particularly if they come upon new supernatural creatures their ancestors had yet to encounter, or if they learn any additional weaknesses of these creatures that can be used to their advantage. Introduced in season 2, the bestiary is a descriptive and anecdotal treatise on how the various supernatural animals the Argent family have encountered or of which they have knowledge. The Argent bestiary has been shown in the series to include information on werewolves, Canema, Wendigos, hellhounds, berserkers, and many more creatures. According to Allison, there have been several occasions where the protectors of Beacon Hills had no idea what they were going up against and sought out the bestiary for more information, as it acts as essentially an encyclopedia of supernatural creatures. For the majority of the hunter community, their hunter's code is "We hunt those who hunt us," which is often translated into the traditional language of the hunter family in question. For example, the Argent family, who is of French heritage, typically recites the code in French. While simple in wording, the code covers many situations. The portions of the code mentioned so far are that they only hunt werewolves who do harm to humans as long as there is proof. They do not kill younger werewolves, particularly children, and they do not kill humans. Not all hunters follow the code, as obviously seen with Kate Argent prior to the beginning of season 1, as she violated the code by killing most of the members of the Hell Pack, including humans, in an arson fire. She also tortured and tried to kill Derek Hale, and then tried to get her niece, Allison Argent, to kill her then boyfriend at the time, Scott McCall. In season 2, Allison's grandfather, Gerard, says the hunters will no longer follow the code due to Kate's murder, and Mexican hunter Araya Calavera, unlike the hunters, shows a much stronger adherence to the hunter's code, and her family believes in its strict enforcement. Aside from their moral code, the hunters have an honor code that if one gets bit by a werewolf, they would take their own life. Examples of this code are the suicides of both Victoria Argent in season 2 and Alexander Argent through flashbacks in season 3 part 1. This has been the code of many hunters for many years, including the Argent family and the Calaveras. In the autumn of 2011, Allison Argent, as the newest matriarch of the Argent family of hunters, changed their family code to "We protect those who cannot protect themselves." However, though Allison and her father Chris Argent committed themselves to this new code, the other hunter families rejected it, such as the Calavera family. Hunters use a variety of weapons when hunting. Because they are human, they typically would not stand a chance against supernatural creatures, so as a result, what they lack in supernatural speed, strength, agility, and accelerated healing, they make up for in an abundance of weapons. They often use a number of different firearms, from shotguns full of buckshot cartridges, a favorite of Kate Argent, to assault rifles with large magazines, a favorite of Chris Argent, to small handguns or revolver pistols, the latter of which is a favorite of Araya Calavera. And hunters also often make the ammunition even more deadly by coating or filling the bullets with wolfsbane to poison their targets. They also use various types of bows, such as longbows, compound bows, and crossbows, with a variety of different arrows, including those with military grade titanium or incendiary arrowheads. Since shapeshifters cannot heal until the arrows are removed, they are a favorite weapon of many hunters, including the Argents. Blades are also used, though less frequently, and typically only when their bows or guns are no longer an option. For example, Allison Argent was fond of using Chinese ring daggers, while Gerard was best known for using a broadsword to cut werewolves in half to ensure that they would stay dead. In addition to lethal weaponry, the hunters also use non-lethal weaponry, particularly when they're trying to capture a supernatural creature for questioning. These weapons include ultrasonic emitters to corral and incapacitate shapeshifters via a high-pitched frequency, tripwires, tasers, and taser wands, and they also have items such as motion sensor alarms and infrared goggles to help them better locate their targets in the dark. Flash bolts are little bombs attached to the arrows that explode on impact, blinding those nearby, and they also use an electroshock weapon similar to a cattle prod. Certain levels of the electricity can weaken werewolves, causing them to revert to their human form, and if applied to a constant current, keeping them weakened. The constant current will also stop their accelerated healing, and if the voltage is high enough, it could kill them. Gerard used a broadsword in the episode Omega to cut a captured werewolf in half. Araya's hunters brought out a chainsaw in the episode More Bad Than Good. Smoke grenades are also used to help them give cover while they enter a building. Hunters also set up elaborate traps using hidden tripwires to ensnare their prey. Infrared goggles, as mentioned before, are worn to see better at nighttime. Ultrasonic emitters use sound to drive or herd werewolves in a certain direction that the hunter needs them to be in, either for an ambush or to capture them. Chris Argent uses a smaller form of the sonic emitter in the episode Alpha Pack, and the sound of that sonic emitter allows Isaac to find the kidnapped parents underneath the Nematon that Jennifer Blake, aka the Duroc, had taken in the previous episodes during that first half of season 3. Gerard used what appeared to be an emitter that interfered with frequency. Unlike the other emitters, this one glowed red, and once activated, it prevented the Dread Doctors from traveling any further. Sonics also come into play when attempting to draw out werewolves. As alluded to earlier, Allison plays recordings of wolves howling through loudspeakers to an attached ATV, and Erica and Boyd mistook the sound from another pack of werewolves and were subsequently captured by her. That is the complete definitive guide on everything you would ever need to know about the Hunters from MTV's Teen Wolf. This should be forever the only video you need to watch to gain all of the information you would ever need to know about the Hunters from this verse. If you made it to the end of the video, thank you for watching. I appreciate you all watching to the end. Make sure to subscribe if you're new and set notifications to all. I'm Jade, and I will see you in the next episode. But until next time, thanks for stopping by, and I will see you the next time you decide to visit Beacon Hills.